My name's Brooke Norman. I go by Brooke Norman. And me and my family built the Berlin Wall as our first mock at Brick Slopes. So it's a life-size replica. It's 14 feet wide. Obviously, the wall was 96 miles, but it's 12 feet tall from all the way to the slope base to the beveled top, just like the wall was. We built it to look kind of like barbed wire, but actually there was no barbed wire at the top. Barbed wire was at the heart of it. Like, it was built as barbed wire and then built around it. So that was kind of a nod to that. It's 49 modular cinder blocks that have 8,500 pieces of Lego each that don't connect. They just set as a compression tower. And then we use snot brackets to create a tension build. So then it's plated. Once we get all of the blocks on there, it's 2,100 pounds and over 600,000 pieces of Lego when we stop counting. So yeah, and that...
Even more incredible, this is your first time displaying any Lego build at a convention.
Yeah, I've never done a mock before. Well, I did build Tanjiro once from Demon Slayer as a brickhead because I thought, I'm going to build what I want. But yeah, me and my dad at Father's Day, I was like, hey, your Father's Day gift is we're going to build a mock. And he's like, okay, and we're going to display at this show. And I gave him the choice between a 15-foot Colossal Titan, a life-size replica of the Berlin Wall, or an 8-foot minifigure of Shaq. And we almost picked Shaq, which would have been way smarter because it would have been way easier. But he picked the Berlin Wall because I was born there when the wall was still up. He was stationed there during the Cold War. So we both had ties to it. And so it became kind of a big family project.
Perfect. Now tell us about the actual artwork here and the story behind that.
Oh, so this is really cool. So Terry Noir was the first activist and graffiti artist to ever tag the wall. And he would sneak in the middle of the night because you could get shot for touching the wall. So he snuck in and he spray painted and did this incredible mural. And he drilled a urinal to the Berlin Wall, which is shocking because that's when the death strip was still active at Checkpoint Charlie. So my dad, knowing that he has all these ties to it, he picked some pieces that were really passionate to people who were of that era. So on this side, we did the West Berlin, which we're kind of calling the colorful rebellion. And then on the east side of the wall, we did a bunch of the graffiti and tags that captured the spookiness of why the wall existed. And we represent that as the East Berlin side of the wall. So it has that very creepy looking Mickey that's welcoming everyone to the happiest place on earth. And that big crack where they were helping their, the mural of their helping their friends escape. And then the Russian quote that was on that picture of Gorbachev that says, dear God, save us or help us survive this deadly love. So we tried to have both sides of the wall represent both the beauty of the people rebelling against it, but also the uselessness of having a wall in the first place. So, and it was just something that was very personal to our family. And so we thought, it's a rectangle. How hard could it be? Duh, really hard. Turns out super hard. Yeah.
Now, one thing I love is you've got the side exposed a little bit here, so you can kind of tell us a little bit about kind of the internal structure of each of these sections.
Oh, totally. Okay, so we thought you had to build everything out of Lego. So every single piece of this wall, there is nothing that is not Lego. On our first day, my daughter was getting scandalized because people kept asking us, what's on the inside? So she literally wrote, this is made out of Lego only. And so how we did it was actually really... I'm going to admit how bad we did it. We've never done a mock before, so we didn't know about Lego math. So we did it in feet. So that's wrong. Kids, you should do stud or plate. So what we did was every 6 1/3, we had basically a different part of the build to make sure that we had built for compression. So the build actually is a square that has compression towers that are fully built in brick that wind all the way up, that bear all the weight. But every 6 1/3, we would put in a snot bracket that then we could put plating on so that it would do for tension. So our concern was that it was going to be so humongous that the fidelity of one brick crumbling could cause it to collapse down itself. So what we did was a 4-part catch where the base is totally solid for the most part. It's got scaffolding, and we have scaffolding a little bit throughout. We've got those compression towers that bear all the weight, and then we tile on top. So nothing's actually stuck together, it's set together. But you couldn't push it down. I mean, I keep hitting it to startle people, and it does not move. So yeah, so then after those towers, so let's imagine the base was struggling and the towers were struggling. There's scaffolding throughout. But what we also did with doing the plates is it kept it really solid so it can't be pushed side to side. And then silly enough, at the very top, as a last catch, we have 2 tiles that turn to the side and just go. And if it were to collapse, it would try to lean in on itself first, and those tiles would make all the other bricks that were holding strong hold it together, even if one at a critical place in the base tried to move away. So it was kind of an engineering feat. My dad is super incredible. We're so mad that we didn't know Lego math. I mean, we literally made it a 76 by 75 in studs. And none of that's divisible by 16. So it was like a nightmare. But
you learned a lot, it sounds like.
Yeah, not a nightmare, a dream that I never got to wake up from. Oh my gosh, if we ever build a Berlin Wall again, we'll know what to do. But yeah, we've learned a ton about like what a Lego can and can't do. For us though, the trickier thing too was sourcing. So you'll see like it's all colored. You can't, if you're trying to do it for any reasonable amount of money, the idea that you could just have dark bluish gray brick, we struggled to find enough. And I work at Bricks and Minifigs, and so I can find brick. I mean, the only people who have more than us is like Lego in the dump. So like we're number 3 out of people who have brick. So we did multicolored, and then the plating we all got fresh from Lego so that we'd have the clutchiest plates possible so it would really hold it together. And I think that's, and then the top is sculpted. That anything at the top was either made early when we didn't know what we were doing, or has less brick and bears less weight. So the top is actually sculpted, but it's not that heavy. And on top, because we didn't know we'd be in front, we put some ocean and pirate ships because we're a history build and not a pirate build.
So you mentioned this side over here. We can take a closer look at the East Berlin side. Talk about some of the how you approach like lettering and some of these tricky shapes over here.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So because it's so big, early on we thought, oh, this will be easy. We can just use bigger plate. But it turns out like what you would do in a smaller mosaic, like using a 1x1, the biggest we could really go and have it be accurate was a 2x2. Because even at this scale, the lettering almost becomes more important, not less important, because it's so visible. And even visible from far away. So what we had to do was we took 4 different designs from the Berlin Wall, and because our design was not an exact grid like we should have done, I made a custom grid. We turned it into pixel art and then created 1 sheets for every block. And when we were designing, we had to design them all separate because we couldn't fit a 14-foot or 12-foot wall at my house. So each block was actually designed without being able to see the block next to it. So that you had to follow the grid. We made this like Lego ruler that we'd stick to it, so we'd know, are we at 5'10", because it's so huge, to be like, okay, how far over does the N need to go? How far over does the X need to go? How was it on the original design? And so all of these pieces were actually put into one massive mural that then got cut into 49 chunks and then spackled on as if it were pixel art.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly is very visually striking, so I'm glad that you were able to capture so much of the spirit of that original art.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because a lot of kids kept walking around, they're like, it's Mickey. I'm like, yeah, it's East Berlin Mickey, which is like, when you see it, it's got like drippy yellow buttons, because you have to imagine the person spray painting it was rushing. Like, you didn't want to be caught at the wall. So like a lot of the art that was on the wall that was particularly provocative was really sloppy because, well, forgive me, not sloppy, was really hasty.
Yeah.
And so Mickey was actually designed in a way that was really spooky. It looked like it belonged in like a horror video game. And the fact that he was ushering like, welcome home in Ost Berlin, it really like lended to like this strange thing where we're all pretending like it's okay. Like, welcome to the happiest place on earth. And so, I don't know, we thought that was really powerful. And then one of the things that was important to my dad, because he was stationed there, was to have something that was spoken in Russian, but that captured how painful it is to be on both sides of history. And so the quote we used was the one that was on the picture of Gorbachev that translates roughly to, God save us, help us survive this deadly love, which was related to just the relationship with power they had in the east side. And so there was plenty of people that lived on that side of the wall that didn't want what was happening. So my dad spoke fluent Russian, that's why we were there. So we made sure to get that captured on there. There's more things that we may add because it isn't June 26th and now time is on our side, but we wanted to have something powerful as our first thing. We bit off way more than we thought we did. I mean, we literally thought, how hard could a rectangle be? And like,
This is
Hard,
incredible. One
hard.
of the largest Lego builds I've ever seen at a convention
Really?
for your first display. So it's that's insane.
have no chill.
Do you hope to bring this to other shows or?
So you know what's so weird? My whole personality is building this wall. So so we finished it literally at this convention, and I thought we were gonna hit it with a sledgehammer. Like I thought we were gonna be like tear down this wall and literally like hit it, and I was gonna fill it with tile, and like first we were gonna hit it, because we're also kind of sick. You know, when you're in a mock, you're kind of sick of it. But then once it was built, the reactions that people were having were so. I'm trying not to get emotional. I know my dad served there too. People who knew it, or they're so compelled by it. And so then I thought, maybe we shouldn't hit it down. Maybe we should do something with it. Like the Berlin Wall was a problem. The Lego Berlin Wall is a conversation starter. And so luckily we built it as 49 modulars that literally you could just pull apart. And so we can store it and then travel it to shows. But legitimately, I literally didn't think about that till this morning when I was like, what are we gonna do with this at the end of the show? And so,
toured around all the bricks and minifig stores.
Right, outside, because they can't fit. I mean, which one has like a 15-foot ceiling? Yeah, so the tricky part is there's not a lot of places to put. I mean, the wall is so tall. Like it was hard to get over, that was the whole point. And so our thought was maybe take it apart and build a giant something, or like for next year. But the other thing is we thought maybe we tour it around to like the shows that have big history builds. Like BrickCon has a lot of historical builds. Or frankly, maybe build a guest house in my yard. No plumbing. You just get to stay in this Lego house. It's like a really cool house to look at. But yeah, so we haven't really decided, but based on the feedback we got here, it seems like it's too soon to tear down the wall. So we'll probably keep it up and maybe add a bunch of detail that we weren't able to capture this time since it was its introductory build, but there's a lot of really cool Easter eggs that we had planned that I think there's still time to get on there.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe some museum. There are a lot of museums in the U.S. that have sections of the wall, so you could tie it in with that.
That's a super good point. In fact, we displayed part of the wall on the wall. So my dad has a piece of the barbed wire that came from the Berlin Wall to thank him for his service. So we displayed it on there, and you'd be shocked at how many people came in and were like, I have a piece of the Berlin Wall. I saw a piece of the Berlin Wall here. And so that's a really cool idea. Ultimately, I just like, it sounds silly, but Lego's like the coolest toy in the world, right? Not in my opinion, like statistically is the coolest toy in the world. And like, we built something like this with that, and I just think, that was the reason we did it, was to do something together. And now I'm like, what do we do with it? I don't really know. Like it's a toy that like I love, that has been amazing for my family. So maybe we'll figure out if there's other people that think it's awesome too, and then display it there or move it around, or I don't know, maybe even, I don't know. Your ideas are good ideas. Let me know, I guess, what we should do with it.
Leave a comment down below on the video if you have any ideas for where you could take a massive Lego wall.
A 14 by 12 Lego wall. Don't worry, it's super strong. You can put whatever you want on it. I think that's the whole essence, right? You can graffiti whatever you want on it. Oh my gosh, in Lights Out, which I wish you guys had seen, we were able to put in there's Lego brick colors that glow in the dark. Or they glow under a black light. So we didn't do a light kit, we did a black light, and we hid some more of the provocative statements in the build so that it was only visible in the dark. It was really cool. So there's a little bit more of that we wanted to add too, so maybe it'd be worth doing one more show just so that they can see all of the Lights Out pieces, because it's like, I don't know, it was a pretty cool build. Yeah. It was really fun to do, so.
No, I think it's an amazing accomplishment here, and I love that it was your family involved, so that's really cool. It's always great when people can come together and work on a build like this. So thank you for all of your work bringing this to the show. Also, just you guys have been working on it the whole show too. So literally, we're at the final hours of the show, and you've just finished it.
Literally, I have to tell you, it was like performance art. People are coming over here, and there's like Lego masters tapping stuff on the wall, like because I've been really rich in friends, and they. All sorts of builders are in here, like, because they show up with their builds ready. But then they see someone over here building, and they're like, I want to build. So honestly, we had plenty of hands that were talented hands that were willing to help us finish the design. But the funny part was they had asked every day, they're like, do you think you'll finish today? I'm like, I think we're going to finish in time to take it down. I'm like, thank goodness that's method. But one of the cool things, I think, is that there has been so many different people who in the final hours of this have added to it, which is exactly like the Berlin Wall. Like Terry Noir made that first tag, and then artists from all over tagged the wall. So it felt very like full circle. that it's like one thing that one person does inspired a bunch of other people to do it too. So it was honestly like an incredible experience at the convention because I'm like, there was always a place you could go and be like, hey, want to help? I'm like, oh my gosh, please. So thank goodness we had the grid because they've all been so honorable about it too. Like they followed the grid, they added cool things. I mean, honestly, they've all done more mocks than I have. So I was like, do whatever you want, but they're like, no, we want to honor your design, and it was incredible. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for giving us the history behind it and explaining the build details. I can't wait to see what you do in the future, both with this build and whatever else crazy projects pop into your mind.
We should do every Godzilla. We'll start at 1954 and just go all the way up. I'm like, yes. Or we should build something you can stand on or go in.
Yes.
I'll build you a house.
I love that.
How about
Absolutely.
it?
We'll record from inside the house.
Yeah,
That's
recording
perfect.
studio. I mean, honestly, now I've gone too hard. Like, they're like, man, Brooke Norman bricks harder than anyone. I'm like, now what do I do? I'm like, literally, next time I just come in, I'm like, I made you this. It's a little heart. Like, oh my gosh, like Lego Movie. Yeah. I'm like, here, it's whatever you want it to be. Yeah, no, I have a feeling that, well, me and my dad have no chill when we do something.
I hadn't noticed.
I mean, I know it doesn't show. But like, it's funny because I work with I work with the brick. And so I think about it all the time. We're dealing with it all the time. And so, I don't know, I feel like I might have entered a new phase where I'm like, and now we build whatever we can think of. It's like the internet. If I can think of it, I can build it. And Lego has everything. Like they have every color, they have every piece. And if they don't, they're going to. I don't know. I mean, the one shame I think is like, I wish I could get it overseas for them to see it because the people there would walk in and immediately recognize what it was. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
How about you tell me what to build and I'll do it? I mean, it might not be done till the last hour of the show, but like...
We'll start thinking about ideas.
I literally, you just messaged me. I'm done.
Perfect. Well, thank you once again. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, guys.